Good morning from Westpac and welcome to another Finance AM podcast. I'm Imre Spicer, Westpac Market Strategist. In the financial markets on Friday, we saw sentiment souring as strong US economic data hinted at inflationary pressures and a Fed hawk spoke. The S&P 500 closed down 0.8%, the US dollar rose and bond yields fell slightly. In the currency markets, the US dollar index rose 0.7% on the day, with all of the other majors falling against the US. The Aussie fell from 77.80 to 76.96, the Kiwi down from 72.40 to 71.51. The Kiwi was almost the worst performer on the day. The worst was the Norwegian kroner. So that Kiwi underperformance pushed the Aussie-Kiwi cross higher from 107.30 to 107.75. In the interest rate markets, the US 2-year Treasury yield didn't move much, stuck around 0.16%, but the 10-year yield fell a few basis points from 1.65 to 1.62%. Commodities, not too much going on there. Brent crude oil had a fall of 1.8%, but copper and gold hardly changed. And iron ore, which usually moves to its own beat, well, that fell 2.1%. Yeah, the news which did partially at least drive those markets, particularly the equity markets, a very strong batch of economic data, which seems odd that it would disturb equity sentiment, but the underlying theme is that inflationary pressures may be building. So we had the employment cost index, wages rising more than expected, in fact the biggest quarterly gain since 2007. And in the personal income and expenditure report, high readings there, just slightly above expectations. The University of Michigan's finalisation of its consumer sentiment reading pushed it even higher. And the Chicago Fed Business Activity Index rose to a 40-year high. So all of that together, and some of the underlying components suggesting that inflation pressures, cost pressures are brewing, and that may, according to some views, require some response from the Fed eventually, perhaps earlier than it's saying. And to go hand in hand with that, we had a Fed hawk. He's well known as a hawk, but he's a current non-voter for this year at least, Kaplan. He spoke. He's been touting above Fed forecast views on growth for a while, so that's not surprising. He's also been touting his preference for a rate hike in 2022, so he repeated that. That's not new. But he did say, and I think this might have been the first time, that the Fed should start tapering bond purchases soon and adjusting those purchases due to increasing concern over imbalances in financial markets. So a little bit of a surprise that he came out and said that on tapering so soon after Fed Chair Powell was so emphatic that they are nowhere near ready to even think about talking about tapering. Today, what's out that could be market moving? We haven't got any real big items until the US tonight, but in Australia we'll have the CoreLogic April housing data. Looking for another strong reading, although perhaps not quite as strong as March was. And in Asia, we'll have a batch of PMIs for various countries. And then in the US, the main item will be the ISM manufacturing data for the month of April. ISM manufacturing conditions are currently sitting at a 35-year high, so pretty strong. We should also see some strength in construction spending data. And finally, Fed Chair Powell will speak, although he's speaking on community development, so I don't know how much of a comment on monetary policy we'll get out of him. Well, that's it for me today. Thank you for listening. I'll be back again same time tomorrow morning.